Right, so it's Wednesday, and Wednesday's the day I go to the Loughborough, so I don't have much time to do things. So I mentioned yesterday in the video that I am teetotal, that is, I don't drink alcohol. So I thought probably the best thing to do at the moment would be to explain how that happened and how I'm not judgmental about it. Okay, now, first of all, there's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol in moderation as far as I'm concerned. That's absolutely fine. And I don't have a problem with it. I personally choose not to drink alcohol. And when I say alcohol, I mean this. Wine, or beer, whiskey, vodka, all that stuff. Okay? In a sense, we're all teetotal because we don't drink, in general, we don't drink the higher alcohol. We don't drink isopropanol on the whole, although a few people do. And we don't drink octanol. Actually, some people do by mistake. We don't drink meths and so on, although obviously some people do, and that is problematic. In another sense, none of us are teetotal at all, because actually we all do drink alcohol, and we drink alcohol in the form of the alcohol that's naturally in food due to fermentation, which means that whenever we eat fruit or eat bread, we are consuming alcohol. And in fact, I once got drunk on some ginger beer because I drink so little alcohol. Now, there are some circumstances under which I will drink alcohol, but I'll go into that in a minute. The thing about alcohol that bothers me is that, to me, it seems to be a form of self-harm. I obviously lose brain cells. I'm not so much worried about the liver, but obviously I lose brain cells as a result of drinking alcohol. So to me, it's almost like, well, you can have about that much fun banging your head against the wall and causing yourself brain damage, which, I don't actually consider to be a recreational activity. The way I got into this situation was that for a long time I used to have this idea that I needed to be in the same mental state as my girlfriend, with the result that when she drank caffeine, I drank caffeine. When she smoked tobacco, I smoked tobacco. And when she drank alcohol, I drank alcohol. What happened after that was we went forward into a time when I split up with her. And after I split up with her, I got together with my current wife, eternal wife, whatever, Liz. And we very quickly conceived a child. She was pregnant. She was breastfeeding. We had another child, she was pregnant again, she was breastfeeding again, and a long period of time went by where, in order to be in the same mental state as her, I needed not to drink alcohol, because she was obviously laying off the bottle while she was doing all of that. So, as a result, I went without alcohol for years and years and years, and I actually got to the point where I thought, well, why am I even bothering to drink alcohol? Because actually I don't enjoy it, and it's something which I find quite depressing. I find it a way of avoiding situations that I much prefer to confront head on. The thing is, if you drink alcohol as a way of avoiding problems, you're giving yourself an extra problem, plus the inability to deal with it, plus the desire, plus the extra problem of having a hangover or whatever later on, and the fact that you haven't dealt with it. And I think that's a really difficult situation. When I got accidentally drunk a few years ago, the problem with that was actually that I felt my entire evening was wasted. It made me depressed anyway because it's a depressant, and it was basically a waste of time. Now, I do actually think there are some things you have to do if you don't drink alcohol, some things that are an advantage, which is that you have to push yourself really hard socially sometimes, because one thing that alcohol is really good at doing is acting as a social lubricant. So, as a result, not drinking alcohol means that I have to try really hard socially, and I may not be very good at that. There is one other thing about it, which is that actually not drinking alcohol can be quite an obsessive preoccupation, which is almost like being addicted to alcohol and being an alcoholic, because you are actually being so rigid about that you actually don't drink alcohol, and you don't drink alcohol, and you're really, really focused on that, and you turn it into a sort of religious thing. Now, there are two situations where I do drink alcohol. One of them is when I take communion, because yes, I am a Christian, and the reason I do that is because communion to me, to some extent, represents the harm that was done to Jesus on the cross, and therefore when I take alcohol, I'm doing a symbolic harm to myself, which enables me to sort of make a contact with him. And the other situation is when I take tinctures, herbal tinctures, and I'm not very keen actually on the fact that herbal tinctures use alcohol as a solvent, but that's the way things are. So I'm not against people who drink alcohol. I just don't drink it myself, and I just thought, that would be a good thing to mention. And seeing as I haven't got much time, I'll do that now.